Well, hello and welcome to TV Kojiko. Our program today is Municipal Matters, and I'm Dave Glover. Joining me today will be Dan Scherer of the King Street Players. They're producing production of Joseph's Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which opens on the 20th in Peterborough, and then they'll be touring Port Hope and Lindsay as well. And Jack Boyajian from the Northumberland Players will be joining me today to talk about their upcoming production of The Last Resort, which is a musical comedy. But first, we'll have Jordan Oxley. He's the president of Sunbay Energy Corp, and Sunbay is setting up an operation just west of Port Hope. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Great, thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
So, Sunbay Energy, what exactly is Sunbay?
I guess the best way to think of Sunbay is that we are the local developer, part of a team that includes Europlasma as a technology provider. So our company is responsible for identifying land for projects, securing permits, doing commercial agreements such as getting waste agreements and so on, and generally identifying a project as feasible. Europlasma, which is a company based in France, they've been around for many years and have a legacy spanning several decades actually from a parent company in France. They're really the technology providers that will be building the system.
So now the system we're talking about is a plasma arc gasification facility that is essentially a waste to energy project for the west end of Port Hope.
That's right, yeah. I mean, it's an energy recovery gasification system. It is in a general class of plasma gasification systems, but it is a unique system in that it's the Europlasma system that's a bit different than some of the other developers, yeah.
Now, a lot of people have questions, obviously, regarding incineration, and this is not incineration, is it? This is an entirely different process.
Yes, yeah. Gasification is an entirely different process. It has entirely different chemical reactions, different physical reactions, and of course that means different pollutants and some pollutants that don't even exist with our system at all. I guess the best way to think about it is gasification takes a material and then turns it first into a gas, and then that gas is used for energy, much like a natural gas power plant would use that energy. Okay. An incinerator actually burns the material and generates heat, and then that heat is what actually generates the power. So there's no burning involved with gasification. So when people say, for example, well, you guys are burning garbage, well, that's actually wrong on two counts. First, we're not burning anything. At least we're not burning the waste. It's first turned into a gas, and then that is what is combusted. And we're actually not really waste guys either. I mean, we are taking, people are assuming that we're bringing in unsorted municipal solid waste, and actually that's not what we're doing. We're taking a very specific stream that's a leftover from a recycling program, so we're sort of part of a recycling system in a way. So we call it recycling residual. It might not be a term that very many people are familiar with. It is waste related, but it's not the same as sort of throwing garbage bags into a system. It's a bit different.
Well, that's actually what leads me to the next question, because some people that I've spoken to about the process say, well, it sounds great and we're producing energy, but it's not getting people into the mode of reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is that you're using leftover from the recycling process
we
itself.
Feel,
so it's sort of the next stage, isn't it?
We feel very, very strongly about this point, actually. We actually call it the 4 R's. There used to be the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle. And we think you should add the 4th R, which is energy recovery, or recover the energy. For a few reasons. I mean, our system works better if there is some form of sorting at the front end. So even were there not to be a recycling program at the front end, we would be doing that anyways. We would be pulling out the metals and the glass and so on. If there are papers and plastics that are recyclable, we would pull those out anyways as part of the system. But perhaps more importantly, we are doing this because of its environmental benefits. That's plain and simple. That's how we're getting into the market. That's why we think it's a better system and so on. And across the board, these systems perform better than all the alternatives in every environmental consideration, except this one concern that we would be replacing recycling programs. And environmentalists have voiced that concern that if waste becomes so easy to manage, then people will not be as responsible as they are right now. So we've always been upfront that we see ourselves as a complement to recycling programs. We work best in that system. We feel that recycling systems work best when you have us as the end, sort of the end spot if you can't recycle anymore. And really what we are competing against, and we have no bones about it, is landfills. Landfills and incinerators. We do see ourselves as a replacement for those. So that's.
So will you be taking other waste as well then, or are we just looking for the residual from recycling?
For now and for the foreseeable future, we're really focused on recycling residuals. There is a significant amount in Ontario. We work very closely with a company called Turtle Island Recycling, which is one of the largest recyclers in Ontario. This is an item that will be discussed, I think, throughout 2009. Some people are aware, and there has been some press on the fact that recycling programs have seen some challenges because of the economic turndown. It's not a myth, it's quite accurate that the Chinese buy a lot of the recycling from North America. There are other commodity brokers that place recycling paper and plastics and so on. And then what happened with the economy, a lot of these materials were not purchased anymore, or they were being purchased previously for $500 and now they were $50 and $25.
Wow.
So where we would fit into a system like that is that, if you're able to recycle things and it makes sense to recycle this 6 months and that 6 months and so on, go and do that. During the periods where it makes less sense to do that, or it's not economically feasible, or whatever the criteria are that help you make that decision, then you don't have to put it to landfill. At least you can put it into one of these systems and then recover the energy. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not regular waste that you're going to be accepting then, or is that possible?
Well, it's possible, but at the moment, you really have to define your systems quite precisely, and they're really 10-year and 20-year horizons. It's not the sort of thing that you would, say, build a system and then 5 years from now be taking something different, because while technically speaking the system can accept different types of waste, you really have to design your plant for that on the front end. One of the things that has proven a challenge for some other developers, and we're very careful not to make those same mistakes, is with all the feeding and sorting equipment, you want to get that right on the front end. And so if you have designed that for recycling residual, and then you want to change that to municipal solid waste or something, it's like building a new plant. So it's better to get into long-term agreements, such as we've done, and stick to sort of that technical model. Yeah.